What's going on, everybody? Welcome back for another review of Singing the Tea. I am your host, Dustin, singer, actor, Lewis. You already know, sometimes I sing, sometimes I give you all of the reality TV tea, but it's always going to be what you want. It's always going to be what you need. And listen, I'm coming to you looking like an Easter egg after Easter Sunday, y'all. What's going on? Happy Easter, everybody. I hope you had a wonderful Easter or having a wonderful Easter, all of that good stuff. But we here for one thing and one thing only, to talk about the Real Housewives of Atlanta. So if you are new here, don't forget to comment, like, subscribe, share with a family member, share with a friend, share with the person next to you in the cubicle. Baby, send it to your boss. Send it around, baby. Y'all just hit the share button, hit the notification button, hit the subscribe button, hit the like button, hit all of that good stuff so we can continue to grow our family. If you are new here, welcome. I appreciate y'all. If you are returning, what's up, fam? I appreciate y'all for coming back for another review. And child, listen, y'all, let's have an honest conversation before we get into it. I think that the Real Housewives of Atlanta, it started off really good to me. I enjoyed it. I don't know if I'm enjoying it as much as I did when it first came on. I think it's starting to lose its luster with me a little bit. I'm gonna still review because I love the girls. I love Miss P. I love Shamia, but I don't know. So let's get into it. We're going to make this a good, fun one, but I don't know if this was like my favorite episode this season. So let's just jump into it. So the episode opens up with brittanyeady and her husband going car shopping. Now, the thing that for me, I talked about this on TikTok, and something that I want to bring up. I miss like the old school Real Housewives of Atlanta when we saw like Kimzolciak calling Big Pop and be like, hey, I want to get this Escalade. He was like, okay, cut the check. You know what I'm saying? And she just writes the check and get the car. We saw them go car shopping, but we didn't see them leave with a car. We saw them talk about, oh, you promised me that I can get a car every 2 years. That just seems a little wasteful, but whatever. You might be in a different tax bracket than I'm in. So I don't know. I don't want to give you too much there. But I'm missing like the opulence that a lot of the old episodes have. And I understand we're in a new era, a new age. But some of the ladies do give that. Some of them do give the opulence. Brittanyeady just doesn't give that to me. And I just have a question. Can you afford? Because listen, it's still a little questionable because once again, we still don't know what y'all do. I mean, we know that you sold insurance and you have your license, but you sold your business. So what are we doing now? But anyway, child, if you like it, I love it, girl. So we see Drew head over to Angela's house and she looks great. And she has I forgot the designer, but it was a martini bag. I've seen a lot of celebrities have those. And you know what, Drew? To you, I ask, can you afford? And the reason I'm asking that, baby, is because Drew, you're going through a whole divorce, a whole legal situation, and you could have had that bag for years. I don't know. That bag could have been somebody could have bought it for you. I don't know. But can you afford? Because that bag was over $5K. And you can't put that much in it, girl. You a mama, girl. Y'all gotta have band-aids, sippy cups, diapers, all that. You can't fit all that in a little bit of bag. Girl, please, get you a practical bag. Get you a laptop bag. That's what you need to get. Get you a good laptop bag and you ain't gotta worry about nothing, baby. Get you a good laptop bag. That's what you need, Drew. So you out here trying to style a profile. Girl, you trying to be like me, looking like an Easter egg, and you need to get you a good laptop bag. That's what you need, Drew. That's really what you need. So we see Angela and Drew, having a conversation, and Angela calls out Drew for lying, about saying that Michael Jordan was her cousin. Drew was like, well, I was just playing. That was a joke. I said it was a joke. Drew, you never said it was a joke. I don't think that any of us really believed anything that you said about that. But it was still weird for you to say. And I'm with Angela. Like, how old are we lying about our cousins at this big grown age? Like, don't get me wrong. We have our play cousins if we have a relationship with them. But who out here lying about who they cousin? Like, girl. And I can see, once again, if it was in a joking way, cool. But it didn't seem like it was a joke. Like, there was no ha-ha behind it. Because people were like, man, are you serious? So if you were joking, they cut all of that out where you let us know that it was a joke, child, because they left that on the cutting room floor. So we pull up to Kelly's house and we see her getting ready to have, I guess like a brunch or lunch with some of the ladies. And we see Cynthia and Portia arriving there first. And, Cynthia is talking about dating. And Cynthia, you know, Auntie, we love for you to date. We love to see you out here fancy, footloose, and free. We love it. However, Cynthia, I think you just need to take a moment and be by yourself for a minute. I love to date. I'm with you. Date all the people that you can date. But Cynthia, I think this is time for you to just focus on you, focus on Lake Bailey, so that we can make sure you good and whole before you go put yourself with somebody else. You talking about some, the older men like the younger women, and the younger men is they want a good TT. See, no ma'am. No ma'am, Cynthia. We need you to just rest. We need you to rest. You out here looking, never mind, I'm not gonna do you like that because I love you. I was gonna say you out here looking like Cynthia from the Rugrats, but you not. You looking good. But you need to just rest. Now I done seen you online with this man. I don't even know his name, but I done seen you out here dating somebody. What the people are saying. Listen, you rest. You be by yourself. Easter, you just rest. Get you a good Easter egg blouse, and you just rest. That's all you need to do. Okay? But child, I don't blame you about them demands. You a high class woman. You have high class demands. You let them know. I don't blame you on that, now, Cynthia. I agree with you on that. So we see Shamia pull up, and Kelly starts talking about her dog. Like after Shamia gets there and everybody gets settled. Now, Portia was like, "Wait, what is this?" When her dog was running around. Kelly's story about her dog, it was sad. Like her dog was stolen, and she found him on. I think she said Craigslist. She said I can't remember, but she found her dog. And she said so it wouldn't happen again. That's why she dies her dog. Kelly, if you just want to die your dog, just die your dog because that story did not make sense. Because if they wanted to take your dog, I feel like by it being died, now it's like, ooh, I really want that dog. And also too, just like you dyed it, they could dye it another color. So, girl, okay. If you just want to dye your dog, just say you just want to dye your dog. I get it. Miss Quad do it. It's fine, child. Just go ahead and dye your dog. As long as it's cruelty free, it's pet safe, and then it got all them PBSs and stuff in it that the people be saying. As long as they ain't got all that in there, child. But I guess. So they start talking about the peace brunch. Oh my God. They start talking about the peace brunch. Y'all little that in here. And now as they having the conversation about the peace brunch, one thing that I did notice when they were talking about the peace brunch, when Shamia had opened that champagne, the only thing I can think about, because it looked like it was frozen, and I just thought about Diane Carroll from Dynasty, and she was like, "Oh, the champagne is burned." It just made me think of that because it looked like it was frozen at some point, and then when Shamia was pouring it, it looked like it was like slushed, which you're not supposed to freeze the champagne. It is burned, baby. We don't do that. We don't do that. We are high class. This is what I'm talking about. The high class. We don't do that. You don't freeze champagne. No, if you're gonna do that, you make you a frosé. That's what you do. Child, we gotta teach these girls everything. So, they start talking about the peace brunch, and then we switch back over to Britt and her husband having a conversation about Angela. And he's just asking, like, hey, are y'all good? What's up with you and her? And, Britt, she was a little offended by how Angela was coming at her. She didn't feel like Angela had any empathy to what she was going through. And honestly, Britt felt blindsided. She felt like she was being piled upon by some of the ladies at the table. I don't think that was their initial intention, but I can see how Britt felt that way. Not taking up for her because I don't think that Angela actually had any ill intent. I truly don't. I think that the way that Angela just was speaking in that moment, it just caught Britt off guard. And honestly, too, though, Britt, I don't think that you had your story I don't think that you thought your story out before you started saying what you were saying because you said too many things and you were contradicting yourself in that statement. So even now you're saying that you are being investigated. Okay, cool. And being investigated versus you have lost your license, two different things. Two completely different things. So Angela was right in that aspect where she's like, wait, what was the cause of them to take your license? So she's just asking questions as a business owner as well to be like, wait, they can't just do this. And I think that if you would have kept saying that, she probably would have gave you some advice to go and look at Like, hey, they can't do this. They need to do X, Y, and Z. So I think that that's how she was coming at you. It might not have seemed that way, but I think that Angela was truly coming from a good place. So this is where, for me, Britt, I was like, ooh, girl. So Britt says that Angela needs to be worried about, the rumors and stuff that are going on about her husband, because allegedly Charles had a baby on her. Now that's what Britt said that the streets is up there saying. I don't really like when people say that. I mean, we say it in a joking way, but I don't think that that was cool for her to do that. Because like I said, I don't think that Angela was really coming at you like that. I do think Angela was coming at some other people later, which we'll talk about, but I don't really think that Angela was coming at Britt like that for her to give that type of energy about this man possibly having a baby on this woman. Like, that just wasn't cool to bring that to the forefront. But we're going to see where this is about to go. So we swing over to Drew and Angela. They're having a conversation again. And, Angela and Drew are basically saying that they just felt like Britt just didn't come at them humble, and she just needs to humble herself. There's some growth that needs to take place there, and they want to move forward with her. And Drew says that Britt wants to meet with her for brunch. Now, when Drew was reading the message in Britt's voice, that was too funny to me, because that girl do sound like that. She's so nasally. It's like she literally speaks like she's holding her nose down. So it's really weird. But yeah, so I don't know. But Britt just feels like they got off on the wrong foot. So I kind of like this when they were going through this portion of the show, when it was kind of the same topic, but just going through each one of the groups, having that conversation. I kind of like how they broke that up a little bit. So, y'all, I am hot. Child, I am hot. I was trying to keep it cool. Child, I'm hot. It is what it is. Let me dab. Child, we're going to get back to the regular schedule program in 1 minute, but child, I'm hot. Anyway, so we see Angela having a conversation with Drew, and she was like, "Hey, so how are things going with you and Drew? I mean, you and Ralph. Like, what are things looking like with you and Ralph? How's the divorce going?" And she asked if Ralph was jealous of Dennis. So Drew says, Dennis had a conversation with Ralph. She had a conversation with Porsha earlier, and both of them now seem to have issues, but there weren't any issues at the time. I think that y'all might have had conversations with them, but you didn't have the right conversations. I think that what happened was y'all were dancing around the issues instead of just simply stating what the real issues were or what y'all were trying to accomplish, because I feel like it can be a little bit tricky. I think working together in the studio separately versus working with him on this show could be a little too close for comfort for Porsha. I feel like Dennis and Ralph being as cool as y'all say they are, and him working with his soon-to-be ex, could be a little too close for comfort. Like, I don't get why. The thing with Drew, Drew will lie. Drew, we have seen, just like with she saying she Michael Jordan cousin. We'll get into another thing that she said that she was just joking. Drew likes to joke with things, or lie, air quotes, allegedly, when it comes to certain things. And it makes it a little confusing to have her side on things, because it's like, well, Drew, what did you know? What didn't you know? When are you joking? When are you serious? We don't know how to support you because you are giving us too many variations of Drew. Like, girl, you're gonna have to pick one way to be, and stick with it, so we can know how we need to navigate with you, because it's really confusing. And I'm gonna just let that be that. So when Cynthia was having a conversation with Porsha about, are you and Drew cool? And Portia's like, I'm cool. It's really not issue. She's good. Porsha, you not good. You not good. You don't care for the girl. You don't like the way she moved, and it's okay. Just say that. But you don't care you don't care for Drew. You care a lot about the situation, but you don't care for Drew, and that's okay for you to say that. So Porsha is inviting the ladies to Nashville for her birthday. Listen, I love Nashville. Nashville is a good time. If y'all have never been, it's a real, real, real good time. Always listen. If you go to Nashville, go to the African American Music Museum. Really, really dope. Really, really good time. I think you enjoy it. I think that everybody should really go and do that. It was a great time when we went. I really enjoyed it. It's an interactive music museum too. Pretty cool. Um, So we see Angela sitting with Drew. So we going back. It's like they kept hitting it. So we go back to Angela with Drew, and she's saying, well, Drew, Portia's having her birthday. Are you going to come? Drew was like, she didn't get an invite. And Angela takes it upon herself to invite Drew. And I'm going to tell you, Angela, that's a bad idea. I don't know what made you decide to do that. But girl, please do not do that. Please, it's not a good idea. You did it anyway, but it's not a good idea. And we are going to figure out and we're going to see why it was not a good idea. Okay. So after that, we have some little moments. And the only reason I'm talking about these is because a couple of these were really, really good and funny. The first one, when Kelly was teaching her daughter how to drive, okay, cool, that was a cute scene. I guess I didn't realize, well, never mind. She had a birthday party in the beginning of the season, never mind. So we see Shamia in the studio doing her song T-shirt. Dope, sounds great. Baby, when Angela was in the kitchen, she asked her kids if they wanted any homemade fries. I love a good homemade fry, baby. Love a good homemade fry. But when Angela had asked her son, well, how does my nose look? You ain't said nothing about my nose. Angela, he needs to stay in the child place. Don't bring that baby into this. That baby ain't got nothing to do with this, Angela. Angela, you and this nose, you gonna have to figure this out. You gonna have to figure it out. This because you listen. They bringing it up, you bringing it up. I don't know what to do. I'm tired of talking about it, but it keeps coming up, and it's so funny because boy, he ain't know what to do. The poor child, he ain't want to be disrespectful. He ain't want to get a whooping. The girl, she just over there. She just want a little piece of French fry. I'm over here minding my business. I was over here trying to eat a little piece of guacamole and watch the TV. And girl, you is bringing this nose back up. Leave us alone. Go away from us with this. Why do you keep trying to stress us out about this nose? Girl. And you said you got a little Botox because it was pinched. And so it just was so big. I don't know if the Botox wore off real quick, but your nose looked the same. I'm sorry, it looked the same. It did look a little puffy when you was in there frying them French fries, but I thought some grease had popped up there and had made it swole or something. But girl, I don't know. It just did not. Angela, please don't do that no more. Don't do it no more. Don't touch your nose. Listen, y'all, and this is serious. When you get surgery, when you start messing with your face and your nose will alter your look so much. Really think about that before y'all start making major changes. You can do what you want to do. You grown. I don't police nobody. You can do what you want to do. Do what you want with your body. Do what you want with your body, baby. But let me tell you this. If the work don't look how you think it's gonna look, and the people is out here snickling and giggling, don't get mad at nobody but yourself, because that was your choice, because you did what you wanted to do with your body. Now back to the regular schedule program. Now we see Cynthia and Porsha talking about Nashville, and they start talking about Simon and her for a little bit. And Porsha isn't talking about that too heavy. I feel like outside of the show, Simon's put out something to where she really couldn't talk about it. I really can't remember. But I feel like he did go to court to say he didn't want her to film in the marital home. So because you see she hasn't filmed in that home. And I guess so much she can't talk about their divorce on TV. So I think that's what some of it is. But I'm not too sure. I'm not too sure there. But I feel like that's why she's not talking about it a whole lot. So after that, Drew and Britt meet for a sit down. They had their little sit down or whatever. And it was a little awkward at first. They both ordered lemon drops, one with vodka, one with tequila. And as they're having a conversation, Drew was letting her know, I'm happy that you invited me out, because I feel like the last time, you came in hot. And, Britt is letting her know, I didn't feel supported by y'all, because I feel like y'all were already taking Kenya's side. And one thing I would say this. I don't think that they were just taking her side, because I think that everybody knew that Kenya messed up, right? I think that Britt, the way that you were coming into that situation, I know you said that you wanted peace. I know you said that you wanted to move forward. But when you was like, oh, she won't be a part of this group, read the room, she's not here. It kind of felt like you were like, oh, she ain't here. She ain't going to be here. And if y'all keep it up, y'all won't be here either. That's kind of the energy I think that you were giving them, not intentionally. And I'm be honest with you, I get where you coming from, girl. You mad? She did something to you. You mad? You mad? You got every right to be mad. But these ladies also have a different perspective on it as well. So just hear them out on that. So they come to a common ground on it. Britt says that she's an open book, and child, Drew opened the book and baby, and she went through every page. Baby, Drew had all the questions, and I was here for all of them. Question one that Drew had on this breakdown: have you ever sold your cat? I wasn't expecting her to talk about that. I wasn't expecting her to ask that lady that, but Drew did. She asked. Now Britt said no. Now Britt answered those questions real calm because Britt, I just knew you was gonna go off on her, especially when she asked the second one, which was, "Did you ever do porn?" And Britt got to stuttering and stumbling over her words. Now she said no, but she did webcam with one of her best friends. Cool. Now this is what I want. I want to give Britt. I'm gonna give Britt a little bit here. Britt, I give you your props because you didn't get mad about it. You owned it, and you owned it, and you was ready to move forward about it. Like, I appreciate that. Like, that's what's up. Like, honestly, you talk about you made your money, girl. Cool. Get your money, get your bag. At least you got something from it, and you owned it. I can appreciate that. I can appreciate that, Britt. So good on you for owning that. Now, um, now this is where it got interesting. When Britt was asking Drew, she said, "Hey, you were telling the group that you knew the dude, or this was interesting too. I'm guessing because we didn't see it. I guess it was like multiple guys. It's weird because the way that Britt is putting it out there is that it was just one person, but the way that Drew had said, yeah, it seems like I knew one of them or could have known him. I can't remember what she said. It was something along the lines of that allegedly. And Britt was like, you know him from seeing his, hot dog. Here's the thing, Drew. And this goes back to you lying because that was weird to me for you to bring that up. And you was like, well, they look familiar. And she said, well, you knew them from that? And then Drew was like, well, I like to joke. I like to joke. Drew, that's childish. Because you brought it up to the other ladies like, oh, yeah, because somebody reached out to me in the DMs and they said that it was them. But you, on the other hand, saying that you was just joking. Drew, you got to figure that out because I feel like at the reunion, you have to stand on that because it really is making you look like you are a huge liar and we can't trust what you are saying. That's my only thing when it comes to Drew. Drew will lie about things and then say, well, if she's lying, and then she'll say that she's joking about it. It's super weird. Like, why would you even joke about that? Like, what does that give you? No one laughed. It's a serious situation, and I do appreciate Drew for apologizing about that. But Drew, that wasn't cool. Like, that was messed up. I don't get why you were lying about that. That was super odd for you to lie. Really, really, really odd, Drew. Um, so they're able to move forward. I feel like they can be cool for the time being, at least. And Britt is asking, "Hey, you and Porsha gonna be cool?" That's what she asked Drew, and Drew just take a sip of her drink, child, and we're gonna move on to the next scene. We see Drew and Ralph getting ready to head to court. Now, both of them in the same house. She come through the main entrance. He go through the side patio door. We see them leaving the house because they both live together. When they get there, right, they having their meetings with their lawyers. Drew's sister's there. That guy that was with Drew, I he was on Hollywood X's. He was on Hollywood X's with Drea Kelly. That's who he was. I know he looked familiar. I can't remember his name, but that's who he was or whatever. It don't matter. Anyway, we see 20 minutes later, and we see Ralph leaving happy. We see Drew leaving. She just can't believe that just happened. So apparently what happened was Drew was going into it. She was wanting to get him to leave the house. She wanted the judge to seal the documents, well, keep the documents sealed, for Ralph to leave the home, and for him to start paying child support. Apparently the judge denied all of it. He can still be in the house, in the basement, which he was a little too excited for that for me. Um, He does not have to worry about the child support. I think additional, child support. And he's okay with the documents being opened. I don't know if that was weird to anybody else but me, because the way that Drew is framing it is that these documents, it's like tons of bad stuff about him. And she wants it sealed. He does not. And she doesn't understand why he doesn't want it sealed. I'm kind of wondering that too, because is it as bad as you are alluding? And Drew, are you joking about it being bad? We don't know, because we don't know how to move with you, right? So I wonder if it is as bad as Drew is leading us to believe, or if it is really that bad and he just doesn't care. Which I can see it going either way. Both of them get on my nerves, to be honest. But it is sad to see them going through this situation. Drew, you cussed him out on the way out. Girl, just leave it be. Leave that man where he at. Just be done. Um, but yeah. But yeah, I just don't understand that situation. One thing I will say though, I can get him not wanting to leave the marital home, because him being in the basement, he was all excited about it. It's weird. However, typically when you're going through divorce, like they tell you not to leave the marital home, like both of y'all to try to figure that out and stay in the marital home, because typically if one leaves, sometimes what they can say is like, oh, you abandoned the home. So I can get why he's like, I'm not leaving this home, like I'm going to stay here. So I can kind of get where they're coming from with that. But I hate that Drew is going through this. Drew, stay the course. It's going to work how it's supposed to work. Just stay on the course, girl. Everything will work out how it's supposed to be. Now we see the ladies heading over to Nashville. Angela and her fandom missed her flight, child. She said her luggage fell apart or whatever. Girl, you only have one set? That's interesting. Whatever, girl. Now, as they are on the road to the house, in their car, they're having a conversation, and they're starting to talk about like some of the work that they had done. They were talking about moonshine, and then they started going into like the different work. And Miss P, Porsha, baby, you had me weak. When you was talking about something, child, I was gonna get my girls done again, but child, don't no man deserve no new girls. I used to call them Coco and Chanel. Now they call them Brenda and Ben, or Barbara and Ben. That's who it was. Baby, when I tell you that was so funny. Porsha is funny. Porsha can be hilarious. She's a hilarious fun girl when she wants to be that hilarious fun girl. But child, Porsha do got a mean, jealous side too, though. But we love you, Miss P. That was a real funny, funny, funny situation. Now they make it to the house. We see them pulling up. The house is gorgeous. I love the aesthetic of the home. It was great. They find their rooms. Child, we need to go down that whole thing. And Portia was real shady though when she had opened up basement. She was like, Drew, baby, you shouldn't have said Drew. You should have seen the Ralph was down there, baby. Ralph is the one down in the basement. It ain't Drew. It's Ralph that's down in the basement. So we have our room reservations. We have Kelly, Britt, and Cynthia up at the top, in the multi-bedroom. Shamia has her bed down below, her bedroom. Angela has her room, and then Portia has her room or whatever. Now here's where it gets interesting, right? Oh, one thing I want to talk about. As they are sitting there having lunch, Kelly asked a really, really good question to Portia, and she's like, hey, how different are your birthdays? She was like, because, my birthdays are different for me now, especially when I first started going through my divorce. How different are they for you? And, Portia talks about her and Simon basically having the same birthday month, and they would just travel throughout that whole time. So it's really difficult. And, she just really wants this trip for her girlfriends, for them to rally behind her, and for her to be supported just around friends and just have a good time. And I hope that they can have that, but it looks like it is going to be, looks like it's going to be some mess going on there. So Angela finally makes it in, and they're having a conversation about Angela as she's walking in, and so it's a little awkward. And fast forward, Angela is telling them, she wishes that Drew was there, and she did extend an invite to Drew. Angela, that was just messy. That was messy for you to do, for you to extend a trip, extend a hand, not hand, extend an invite to Drew on somebody else's trip. Like, that's messed up. And it's the host, right? The host that has the issue with this girl, on top of it being her birthday trip. No, you don't invite her. And then like later, Angela, you looked a mess as well going out. Everybody, Portia's outfit was top tier. Everybody else looked okay for the most part, but Angela, that wasn't cute. Like your outfit was way too much. But you know, here's the thing, right, Angela? And I'm skipping over some stuff, but let me just talk about it. And then it comes later. And the one thing I'm gonna give you, you can stand on your own, right? You can hold your own. You can stand on your own. I appreciate that about you. But you know, Porsha was saying, you know, oh, it's cool, it's fine, or whatever. It really wasn't fine because she felt like she didn't have a choice. Like, you already invited this girl. I'm gonna have to figure out some space. People are asking me because they know me and her used to be cool. And now it's a bigger thing because you invited her. You shouldn't have invited her. I get where you coming from. You know, you felt like this was a weekend for everybody to just hash out their issues. But I'm with Porsha, I'm with the group. No, this ain't the weekend about that. This is the weekend for me to celebrate me and my birthday. Because now we are making it about her. And I understand that that might sound selfish, but y'all, it's her birthday. I feel like I can't get mad at somebody not wanting a certain person on their birthday trip for their birthday on their birthday. It's her birthday. Let the girl do what she want to do. It's her birthday trip. If she don't want Drew there, she don't want Drew there. And then, you know, we hear Drew talking about like, oh, well, you know, I'm having this hard time with my divorce. I could really like use a getaway. Drew, that's great that you can use a getaway. Just not that one. Like, I feel like you and your sister and Angela probably should have went somewhere. Or if you do come to Nashville, which we see you do, you're coming, maybe y'all can go and do something else and not be a part of the group. Like, I just don't feel like it was the best thing to do. But it looks like they're having a good time in Nashville. We see Shamia, she won the bull riding competition. We love to see it. Porsha ain't lasting up but a couple of seconds, but it was good. Porsha's outfit was fire. But y'all, that's essentially all I got from this episode. There's a couple of the things that I have in my notes, but child, it ain't gonna move the needle one way or another. Child, it is what it is. The episode, it was okay. It was an okay episode. But with that being said, don't forget to comment, like, subscribe, share with a family member, share with a friend, hit that notification bell button, and don't forget to like the video. But y'all, that is going to be the Real Housewives of Atlanta Season 16, Episode 7 review. I appreciate y'all for joining me, but have a good one, everybody.